So how does a person fit into society? Now many would think that a question like this has a fairly simple answer. You simply fit into the niche that's right for you. And many people believe this. In fact, this is not the case. Because although this may work for someone who doesn't really care about themselves, or someone who just wants to fit into pop culture, it is not the case for those individuals who want to be their own person. So how do we fit in? Or, in its most basic, how should we react to other people? Ayn Rand presents a possible solution in her intriguing book entitled The Virtue of Selfishness. Now, in this small little book, there is a stockpile of objectivist epistemology on the basis of society. One particularly profound quote, found in the essay The Conflicts of Men's Interests, states, "Living in a society instead of on a desert island does not relieve a man of the responsibility of supporting his own life." Now what Rand basically means is that society cannot be blamed for your problems. Now, this isn't true. I mean, anyone who's ever lived in a third world country will tell you that. Now, because this quotation cannot be applied universally, it doesn't really work. Looking further then into the mind of a philosopher rather than an economist, we can find an answer candidate in Henry David Thoreau's Civil Disobedience. Inside this centuries-old essay, Thoreau criticizes many societies. He even goes so far as to state, "I heartily accept the motto, 'Government is best, which governs least.'" He then ends with, "I please myself with imagining a state at last, which can afford to be just to all men, and to treat the individual with respect as a neighbor." So he basically gestures that the best way for a person to fit into society is for the society to mold around the people. Now this isn't quite right either, since it's been nearly 200 years since this philosopher's first publication, and still there is nothing transpiring. Looking forward then, I pursued a more modern conception, and I found another contender in the article entitled 5 Ways Our Need to Fit In Controls Us on the Huffington Post Healthy Living website. Now I didn't think I would find much, as it was written by a meditation instructor named Michael Taft. However, he begins with an insightful, "Westerners exalt individualism, yet our biology moves us in other directions. Humans evolved as social animals, and we possess a number of behaviors that motivate us towards group conformity. Our biological wiring for group cohesion is so strong that we will do almost anything to fit in, and feel anxiety if we don't belong, or if our sense of social standing is low." So although he had good grammar and vocabulary, he didn't really answer the question. He just reworded it multiple ways. So then I decided to turn my attention to the mind of a scientist, rather than the mind of a philosopher. I found another possible answer in the brilliant Richard Feynman autobiography, What Do You Care What Other People Think? Especially the chapter entitled The Making of a Scientist, in which Feynman remembers when his dad, who was a uniform salesman, would speak of the Pope. "Here's one human standing here, and all these others are bowing in front of him. Now what's the difference? The difference is the hat he's wearing. But this man has the same problems as everyone else. He's a human being." What this means is basically the same as the whole of the United States Constitution. All men are created equal. The book goes on to talk about Feynman's own run-ins with unlikable people and how to deal with it. He states his own philosophy on life, which is in fact the title of the book. However, this philosophy is also a little skewed. If we were all to live by this philosophy, the world would become infested by hobbits, and nothing collaborative would develop. So though it may work for a single secluded scientist, it doesn't work for a society. In summation, there are 4 very plausible ways to deal with people. Perhaps the real answer is that there is no unified answer. Everyone just has their own philosophy, and life goes on as it always has, untouched and unchanged. Thank you.